Welcome back
What's
to
up?
this week's episode of Hate Your Guts Pod. I'm your host, Elena. We haven't done this in a while.
I'm Haley.
I'm Vivi. I was actually just thinking about this the other day where I was like, we haven't introduced ourselves in a
I
fucking
always
minute.
went last. That really threw me, girl.
Sorry. I was just going off vibes.
It's okay.
It's because it's been a while.
Yeah, we haven't recorded in 2 weeks. Sorry.
We also haven't introduced ourselves on the pod.
For any new listeners.
God knows who long. How long?
Long day.
We got our first hater in the meantime.
Oh my god, we did.
Mm-hmm.
2 out of 10 was the consensus for their
Yeah.
comment.
The comment is no longer there.
I checked. They deleted it. I think it's because we were so nice in the...
I said
Feedback.
appreciate the feedback.
What did
Yes.
they say again?
They said 2 out of 10. Actually, I screenshot it. It's not that deep. They
And
said
the girl in green talks too much.
they really came after you, girl.
In my defense,
I don't even think you talked that much that episode.
I didn't even talk that much that episode.
That episode.
But also, in my defense, I think I'm the one that's most comfortable talking when there's dead air. So, like, for audio listeners or visual listeners, I think actually just audio. Like, you don't hear the dead air, but, like, I'm the one to fill it. So then that's why it seems like I'm talking way too much, I think. People say that they want a yapper until a real yapper comes at them. And I think that that's unfair. And also, like, this is a podcast. What the fuck else do you want me to do?
That's what kind of got me is I was like, someone's going to be talking at all time. Like, that's the point.
Someone's got to carry the weight sometimes.
I'm also just like, this year, I think that I'm more like expanding and like growing out of being shy. I'll find a healthy medium somewhere. Like, let me just figure this shit out. Leave me
She's
alone.
a Sag rising, guys.
Mhm.
She will blurt.
Yeah. And blurt I do.
And blurt you do. You're coming into your Sag rising.
Yeah, just getting older, trying to figure out like who I am as a person. Didn't mean to get that deep talking about that, actually.
That was really sweet.
It was like a very silly comment. It made me laugh because the screenshot that Haley sent in our group chat was like, I was looking cunty as fuck. Like, I looked good. Can't even be mad.
Can't threaten me.
Yeah.
Wait, threaten's not the right word.
But we really do mean it when we say that you reply to every comment, even if you're a hater.
Oh, 100%.
Keep them coming.
Mm-hmm. And we're nice. So, like, I think that people expect us to be bitchy. And, like, sometimes I kind of want to be, but it's also, like, when you work customer service and someone's, like, a fucking asshole to you and you're just like, are you okay? Like, when you're just, like, really concerned with them, then they get embarrassed really quickly because they're like, oh, why did I go, like, so hard?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Did I do something to you?
Literally.
Scared.
So we did kind of talk a little bit about having an official segment title. So instead of asking what to bitch about, we're going to have our shit and tea and shit. The shit talking, spilling tea.
Shit and tea.
The
Shit and tea.
shit and tea.
Tea and shit? Because
I said
Tea and
tea.
shit?
I said shit and tea.
shit and tea might sound like you shit in tea, which
Yeah.
could also work, I guess.
Yeah, versus tea
Tea
and shit.
Right.
Tea shitting.
Instead of like a coffee shit, it's like a
tea
tea
shit.
shit.
Diarrhea of the mouth, baby.
It's kind of elegant in a way, I would say.
Very
It's one way to describe it. Let us know which one you prefer. Shit and tea.
Any of the things we listed, to be honest.
I think it rolls off the tongue a little better.
What?
Shit and tea.
I like shit and tea.
All right.
Okay, so for our shit and tea, does anyone have any shit to talk, tea to spill?
I mean, always, but like,
Hmm.
let me think about my shit and tea.
It's okay.
I didn't brainstorm this earlier, so give me a sec.
All good.
This can be edited out.
Okay. I have something to say.
Say something.
Say it.
See, this is also like you guys are thinking, and I'm just like, I have something to say, so I'm gonna say it. So fuck you if you say I talk too much. So I think I always say this every episode. I give like a little bit of a update on like romantic life, social life, just like things that I've been going to like do recently. And I was like kind of going to plan a date with somebody last week. It was when you guys were gone. I don't know if I was like ovulating or what. Something was in the air, but I was like, on the verge of sending you up texts to people. Like, it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
I was in heat. And I was like, I was like trying to just, I was like mentally, I want to go out. I want to go out and I want to like meet people and like, I don't know, just like do stuff, see what that's like. So I was like talking to this guy for a little bit, maybe like not very long, like 3-4 days max. And sorry, you like totally heard me gulp. That was really gross.
Some people might be into that.
Oh. If they're into it, they have to pay for it. True. But I was talking to this guy, beautiful face card, beautiful man, just so gorgeous, tattoos, mustache, long hair, gorgeous man. One thing that I will say is that God gives his most lethal of face cards to his shortest of kings.
It's
because
true.
the amount of beautiful men that I've seen that are under 5'5",
Yeah.
crazy.
Are you into short kings, or are you cool with that?
Not usually, but he was so beautiful I was willing to overlook it.
I might have one for you.
I mean, I'm not looking for him.
She's not seeking him out.
I'm offering.
It's just like they're there. And it was on Tinder, so his height wasn't there. I think on Hinge it's like necessary that they have it on there. And I didn't think about it. I wasn't really thinking about it. He seemed really cool. He seemed really fun. Like, we had a decent amount in common. One red flag off the bat, unemployed. I don't know, like, what.
Wait, did you go out with him?
No.
Oh, okay.
Need to clarify that first. No.
Okay.
But he was like actively interviewing for places, and he quit from a job that seemed like a very toxic workplace. So I was like, okay. But the last 2 guys that I've gone out on dates with were unemployed. So I'm 3 for 3 on attracting men that are unemployed. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's a recession indicator.
But it doesn't look good for me. And it does not look good for me.
You're definitely not marrying rich at this rate.
No. One of my friends and I have like a joke that's kind of fucked up. Where I was just like, all of the men in my likes on Hinge, like the men that like me, are either skinny or unemployed, and it's giving soup kitchen. Like, I don't know what I'm emitting to like get this feedback back for me. But we were talking for a little bit. It was fine. It was good. He was really cute. He seemed funny. But he, very quickly, I learned, is very insecure. Just like in things that he would say. Like, we were texting for a little bit, and then he was like, I just feel like I should disclose to you that I'm short. Like, I'm a short king, was the verbiage used specifically. And I was like,
Don't call yourself that.
Yeah, that's an ick.
yeah. And I was just like, okay, well, like, I'm like 5'2"-ish. So, like, it's technically not really a big deal. I didn't say this, but like, I do usually date people that are taller than me, just like personal preference. But like, I'm open to it. Why not? Beautiful man. We get along well. Why not? And then he was like, am I being pranked right now? Like, are you serious? Which, yes, exactly.
Embarrassing.
Super embarrassing. Super
It's like, you finally someone's giving me a chance for once in my life.
inside thoughts.
Inside thoughts.
Inside
for sure.
thoughts.
And I was just like kind of over it, so I didn't really engage with that part. But just like little things would come up in the first 3 days that we talked, to the point where I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Where I was like, okay, like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to go to a bar? Do you want to go get coffee? Like, do you want to get dinner? Like, what's the vibe? And then he was like, I'm just not good at planning things.
Don't
Red flag number 2. Like, I
get
had
good at it. I don't know.
figure it out. You're 25.
Yeah.
Get good at it. And another one was, we were talking about like getting drinks, maybe going to a bar, and he was like, I don't know, maybe I'll just look better with some drinks, like after some drinks. And then he was like, well, maybe we should go out at night because I feel like I'm ugly. And I was just like, why would you say that to me? Like, are you trying to convince me to not go out with you? Like, why would you say that to me?
Middle school trauma flashbacks.
No, because it's giving middle school, and I don't understand. Like, it just gave me the ick so bad. And we had like loose plans to go out on a day. And he hadn't texted me all day until 5 p.m. And then he was like, hey, like, how are you? And I wasn't super engaging, so it's like, we're supposed to go out, and then you just like kind of bailed. Like, that's kind of whack.
Yeah.
Just early on, be like, hey, actually, I don't want to go out today. That's fine.
Not you getting bailed by an insecure short king.
Let me continue. And then he was like, he double texted me because I didn't respond, I'm pretty sure is what. No, I was like, I'm good. How about you? Like, very dry. Like, I wasn't really engaging. And then he was like, hey, I just wanted to say that I'm like really into you, and I'm like really want to meet you and do stuff, but I'm like really scared to because I feel like you won't like me. And I was just sort of like, okay, well, what makes you think that? like, I like you. I'm telling you, I like you. I think that you are like good looking, and I think that you're interesting, and I wanted to meet you. Wanted, past tense.
Mhm.
And then he was just like, I don't know, I just feel like I don't have anything going for me. Like, I don't have any friends, and I don't really have any interests, and I like am like, I stay up really late gaming, and it's just like, you are convincing me not to go out with you.
Yeah.
Like, why would I want to go out with you? Beautiful man, gorgeous face card. Why are you acting this way?
At least he's upfront about it.
Exactly. So I was like, get out and go. I stopped talking to him.
Yeah.
Like, I just stopped responding because I was like, honestly, like, it's kind of like self-sabotage for you to say all these things to me, and then just like I'm thinking that you don't want to see me because you don't talk to me all day the day that we're supposed to go out, and then you're telling me otherwise. Like, I don't really believe you. And then he was like, I'm sorry that I made you seem like I'm not interested. Like, I really want to hang out with you. I'm just worried. And then it's just like, I'm good. And after the self-sabotage thing, he was like, yeah, I tend to do that with people that I like.
What a freak loser.
Weirdo freak.
Weirdo free. Why? What is with who made the trope that when you're insecure, it's cutesy and it's attractive? It's not.
It's not.
Like, it doesn't matter if you're short, if you're tall, if you're a girl, if you're it's not cute at all.
Especially at this big age. Like, we're all grown adults here, right? Like, it's not
like,
good.
in that sense. Like, you can be insecure, but like, don't like make it like your thing.
Oh, 100%.
I think it's like a defense mechanism because they're like, oh, well, if I call myself out on it first, then like I beat you to it. And like, at least I let you know about it, like about me being short and like about me being a loser. So you can't like hold that over my head later on because like I told you already. But like,
there's funnier ways to deliver, I think.
Mhm.
well, there's just like more emotionally mature ways to go about that. Like,
Literally just like, oh, I'll bring my ladder so I can make sure to give you a kiss later.
Exactly.
Just like
Yeah.
something funny.
well, just like, I forgot what I was going to say.
I have to show you guys a picture of him after. Gorgeous man. Like,
I
you will be
believe you.
shocked when you see his face. But that's another thing too, is just like, I like myself. And I think that you, as somebody that I am pursuing, should like yourself. It's kind of the bare minimum. I don't love myself. I like myself. I think that I'm pretty cool.
Mhm.
We'll get there eventually. But like, don't overshare with someone that you've known for a few hours, few days. Inside thoughts, keep it to yourself. Being insecure is not cute. I think that confidence is really attractive, like for all people. And sometimes I get like a little bit surprised by what I can pull because I'm just like, wait,
I did that?
yeah. Sometimes I get really surprised, and then I'm like, I think it's just because I'm confident and I'm like very outgoing when I meet people. I'm very direct in dating.
Well, you also
especially-
are just really hot.
Thank you. I don't think at this angle I probably am. Sometimes I see myself in our videos and I'm just like, but like, there's a lot that comes from confidence and like feeling good about yourself. It says a lot about you in the way that you carry yourself. And no matter how beautiful you are, nothing can make being deeply insecure attractive about you. Like, get off Tinder, get a therapist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Simply become a better person. Like, put work into yourself. Get a hobby.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Get a job.
If you're like, oh, I don't have any friends and like, I'm just not that interesting, become interesting, make a friend.
Mhm.
Like, why are you dating?
Like, there's a common denominator there.
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully, he did not live with his parents.
It's a step up.
That was a step up. But
Unemployed, but lives out of home.
yeah,
How
With
does he
his
make it
sister.
work?
I don't know. I don't know how long he was unemployed. Maybe it wasn't very long. Savings?
Maybe that's why he had time to date.
true.
Maybe he doesn't go on a lot of dates, and that's why he can't socialize properly.
I wonder why.
That was a really good shit and tea spill.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that.
I was withholding that one for the podcast.
Yeah, that's
It was a good. It was a good one to withhold because it wasn't too exciting. That I'd be like, "Why didn't you tell me this when it happened?"
Yeah. No, if it was like news, you guys would know about it.
mhm.
Yeah, I'm better. I'm excited. We get to see a picture.
Oh, I know. I wish I could show you right now, but
It's okay.
my phone is recording.
I'm actually doing really great in my life, and I don't have any shit or tea
Love.
to bitch about.
Love.
Yeah, I don't have anything I can talk about.
Yeah, that was a defense mechanism.
Your PR has gone back to you and said no.
My people have talked to other people's peoples, and all the people said, "Shut up."
Yeah.
Everyone said, keep that shit to yourself.
I also just don't have anything to say. Like, my life is so boring and I'm very sad and couch goblin lately.
Okay, your life is not boring. You have things coming up.
Exciting things.
Like my Halloween party.
Yay!
I am excited about that. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yes. What are you dressing up as again?
Fairy.
Fairy. I have your wings. Please remind me.
Yes, I have Halloween decorations in my trunk for you.
Thank you.
Gorge.
I'm going to be Miss Piggy. I'm going all out. I thrifted a hot pink sequin dress. I got the blonde wig. I'm going to wear gigantic eyelashes. Titty's going to be out.
Fuck yeah.
The way God intended.
Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be awesome. I
Hell yeah.
sculpted my pig nose because Miss Piggy has a soft, fuzzy little sweetie nose. But all the pig noses online were like too realistic and just like gross. So I carved it out of foam and then I felted it. And
Crafty.
I am a crafty bitch.
You are.
Thank you.
I agree.
And my boyfriend will be Kermit.
I'm so excited. Are you going to have a costume contest?
Of course.
Love.
We're also going to have bobbing for apples. We're going to have pin the eye on the zombie. I don't know.
You guys should come too. The address is...
Yeah. Honestly, probably everyone that even listens to this podcast will be attending the party.
Yeah, half of our monthly listeners will be in attendance. Well, actually, we have a decent amount of monthly listeners.
We're getting there.
I think Haley told us when she sent us the insights there was a listen in like Italy.
Yeah.
Come through.
Come through. Fly out.
Do you guys even celebrate Halloween out there?
I think so.
What's life like out there, man?
I want to find out.
Fascist. I've heard Italy is very fascist.
Is it?
Can't be more fascist than here.
It's really fascist.
It's got to be about the same, right? As here.
Maybe not so like secretively.
I think it's like France, no?
I don't really know anything about anything over there.
Isn't France always unhappy with their government?
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
I think that's kind of
At least they do shit about it.
Yeah.
Well, they try.
They're pretty good about organizing. They're a lot better at organizing than we are here. Like when there was the attempt to raise the retirement age, like they organized a very
They shit in the river.
well thought out, like, yeah. And I think also the trash people stopped working. It would take so much for people here to like organize an actually thought out, executed anything, protest.
I also
strike.
think they have far more unions in Europe.
I think so.
Like very I think almost any career path has a union as God intended.
Yeah, out of fear for sounding more like a bimbo than I already do, I will cease talking about Europe right now.
I don't know shit about Europe. Like,
I don't know shit about shit. Don't ask me.
I can't even point to it on a map, to be honest.
Don't say that. They always say we're bad at geography.
Hey, I am really good at geography.
You are.
Jacob, the other day, Jacob's my boyfriend. He asked me if Florida is in the northeast of the country. And
Jacob, I know you're listening.
Jacob, what the fuck?
I'm just like, how do you think Florida is being affected by the hurricanes then?
Does he know the shape of Florida? Has he looked at a map of the United States?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I thought it was common knowledge that Florida is like the southernmost point.
It's our Italy.
It's our boot.
It's
our
shaped
boot.
like a gun. Yeah.
Gun, yeah.
Gun, yeah.
Yeah. Or like a ball sack.
I need further explanation from Jacob. Northeast?
I couldn't tell you. I was like, Florida literally touches the state where I'm from. What do you mean? Whatever.
There's no state literally or theoretically more southern than Florida, I feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. Because we were talking about the Caribbean, and I was like, oh yeah, I feel like South Florida is like part of the Caribbean because we were talking about how whatever, never mind. we were talking about how there's a lot of Cubans in Florida, and he was like, why is that? And I was like, because Cuba's like right there next to Florida.
Yeah, Cuba's super close to Florida. Jacob. Aw.
Oh my god.
And it's like literally part of the Gulf of Mexico. Like, what do you mean?
I'm just like, he had to have attended 4th grade. Like, the map was on the wall.
It's like the boy has ADHD, but like at what point?
Okay, wait. Was he more just confused about geography and like directions in general? Like, does he know where north is?
No. Well, like, what do you mean? Like
never eat shredded wheat.
Like, did he think that Florida's where it's at, but he thought that was the Northeast?
I mean, like, I'm sure he knows north is up, south is, you know. But like,
well, I would also think he would know where Florida is.
He was saying, I don't know, I'm from California. I don't care about any other states. I was like, fuck you.
He had to be fucking with you.
Yeah, of course. Because I do like to make fun of Californians because I say, like, Californians only care about themselves, like, as a state.
Yes.
Like, they think that it's simply the greatest state, and so there's no reason to care about what happens in any other state.
A lot of people do really feel that way.
A lot of people really do.
Yeah, I'm trying to like get out of this like coastal
California
elite.
supremacy.
I do think California supremacy, but I think there's like the coastal elite idea of like people just don't give a fuck about other states, and it's true. Like whenever something bad, like right now, whenever something bad happens to a red state, people are like, "Well, they're a red state, fuck them," and it's like, well, those are just people. Like they shouldn't die.
I also feel like the things about California that I like is like you can kind of find them anywhere in the right city. It's just this like, I like how many things we have here, like that happen here. Like concerts, shows, a lot of artists come here. It's like almost guaranteed. There's always like the cool new shops are always start in Southern California.
Yeah, that's true. It is popping here.
The only thing that I'm concerned with when it comes to moving elsewhere is the lack of Mexicans elsewhere. Like, I don't like the idea of being outnumbered. It kind of freaks me out. And there's just such a like strong like Chicano culture in LA. Like, it kind of freaks me out going anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty valid. I don't think you'll get this anywhere else.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it freaks me out anywhere where it's not just super diverse, because I'm like, this is weird. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we not all here? Where is everybody?
I feel the same way because, like, I'm from Atlanta, which is also very diverse, but in like a different like demographic, I guess. Like different percentages of different ethnicities. But I really want to move to Portland, Oregon one day. But it does lack a lot of diversity, and that'll be really strange for me for a while, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've heard there's a lot of like performative activism there when it comes to like racial politics, especially.
Probably, but there's still that here in California anyways.
Yeah, that's true. We're very segregated here.
It is super segregated here. I would like to talk about that another day.
Definitely by county.
Yes, definitely by county.
It's also like very much by city.
Like, I could really talk about this.
Hate your guts, segregation.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like here, it's like one city is one race.
Sorry, I just like processed that. She said, hate your guts, segregation.
That was funny.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, I was saying like here, at least like outer LA area, San Gabriel Valley, it's like one city is one race, the next city is another race, the next city is another race, majority. So like it's strange to me. It is strange. I'm not used to that. Anyways, that's my rant on that.
I can't keep talking about that because I'll deep dive.
That's how I grew up. I didn't actually meet a white person until I was like 12. His name was David, I think.
The fact that you didn't meet a white person until you were 12 is crazy.
Everyone was like Filipino or Hispanic. Like I grew up in like a very, it's not really necessarily diverse then because there's only like two kinds of people. There was like maybe 2 white kids in my school, maybe 1 to 2 black kids at my school. And he had like wavy blonde hair and green eyes, and he dated so many girls because everyone was just like he has green eyes. Like we've never seen that before. The amount of people that he dated in that 1 to 2 years that he was in that middle school is crazy. Good for him.
Was he even cute?
He was pretty cute.
Okay.
Yeah, he was pretty cute. He was really nice. He was really weird. He was super into archery.
Interesting. Okay.
I think it's really funny when people like comment that I'm from Orange County because never once did I have a culture shock. Like,
Mhm.
my school was very normally diverse as I saw it. I never felt like anyone was in the majority.
Mm.
I don't know. I just like, I think it's funny when people are like, oh, you're from Orange County. And I'm like, I guess.
You're like, relax.
I'm like, kind of. I'm like on the edge.
There's like a low key. It depends on where in Orange County too, because it's like Newport Beach versus like Orange,
Like,
or
we're like damn near in Downey, you know?
yeah, Laguna versus Santa Ana. Like the demographics there are just so different. But there is like a very true Orange County stereotype. When I first started working in Orange County, like I kind of encountered it a little bit more where people are just like, they don't really give a fuck about you. Like they don't really ask you questions. They don't really like care. And it's very like self-centered, like me. And also just like, it's not a culture that I really experienced in the past. I remember when I first started working at my job, I was just like making small talk with people and I was like, oh, like what school do you go to? Like then talking about myself after. And I told someone that I went to the school that I was going to now and I'm about to graduate from. And they were like, oh, that's really cool. That was my safety school.
What does that mean?
That was like their backup if
Like
they didn't get into their other school and it's not as good as the school they got into, basically.
It
If
was like,
someone's
I knew I would get in.
yeah, which
Yeah.
the school that I got into had a lower acceptance rate than the school that they go to. So it's like, one, fuck you. Second of all, don't say that to people. That's not socially appropriate to be like, oh, that was my backup. That's cool that you go there though.
The school that you go to that I went to, like, that's like not particularly an easy school to get into.
No, it's not.
I mean, if your major is like super, super like low in numbers, like, yeah, they'll admit you. But
Mhm.
if like their nursing program is insanely hard to get into.
Yeah, it is. A lot of people I know try to get into their nursing program and just don't.
Same with their music program. They have a huge music program.
Mm-hmm.
They give away a lot of scholarships. I knew twins who got music scholarships. They were weirdos though.
Twins usually are, I fear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I did have one more thing to say about our shit and tea. Speaking of school, that reminded me. I just got my financial aid 2.5 months late, which is nice because now I have money. I quite literally had 39 cents in my checking 3 days ago. And then yesterday I was like, okay, I have money in my account. Let me get a pair of shoes that broke that I could not afford to replace up until right now. Let me get my oil change that's been due for 3 weeks. Let me get some gas. And then I got lunch after. And I was like, having money is so cool. Just all the bare minimum stuff that I needed to do.
Yeah.
So slay.
And then you're like, damn, all my money's gone now.
Yeah, right after the essentials. It's all gone.
I have a little bit of a cushion now with having financial aid, but we had a whole debrief about getting out of debt. We're all in debt. We're trying to get better. We're on the ups.
It is what it is.
Yes.
It's hard to be on the ups when the economy is on the downs.
Mm-hmm. We're trying our best to be on the ups.
We're on the furthest up we can be right now.
Yes.
Okay. Well, with that being said,
It's time.
Long ass intro.
dude, our last episode, that intro was like the majority of the whole conversation.
We didn't really plan a topic until that day, I don't think. So it kind of worked out.
I couldn't even tell you what we talked about.
Politics as usual, fashion.
So previously, we have had a conversation about tradwife. Wait. Oh. We have had a conversation about alternative to tradwife pipeline. And this is kind of along similar lines, but we wanted to talk about wellness to right wing / QAnon pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just a really interesting phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's like a very fine line. I feel like I've said fine line like 8 times.
You didn't. You're good.
There's a really fine line between like a healthy amount of like use of natural medicines and like remedies and supplements. But then there comes to a point where a lot of people start becoming chemophobic, which is the fear of chemicals. And I feel like that gets really dangerous when they start going down this path of like not believing in chemistry, like cosmetic chemists, or even like pharmaceutical drugs that are like specifically formulated by very smart people that know what they're doing, that went to school for a bunch of years to like create these medicines and products. I don't know. I feel like I'm talking really slow and I'm not making a lot of sense.
You are making sense.
Okay. But yeah, it just sucks when like people are becoming like skeptical of chemistry and like science, because science is like the realest thing that we have as humans. And yeah, people become like science deniers. Some people are even afraid. I don't know if afraid is the right word to use, but like some people even refuse to use sunscreen or get vaccines. And they don't even really believe in like doctors.
Without science and medicine, which are both beautiful things, most of these bitches would be dead by now.
Yeah.
I think there's something interesting to say about the demographic of people who feel this way, like who are chemophobic, who are anti-vaccine, who are like pro herbal remedies. And obviously that's not to discount like indigenous medicine and practices, because obviously people for hundreds and thousands of years have been like using natural remedies for things. But obviously also like modern medicine has improved upon some things, and we should be using it and we should be listening to doctors. But there's like something to notice about the kind of people that feel this way. And I feel like honestly it's usually like middle-aged, middle class, upper middle class, like white people who feel this way about like chemicals and food. And I don't know if it's just because like you need a hobby, or like you've never had any sort of adversity elsewhere, so like you need somewhere to direct that to, and you're kind of taking it out on like the medical industry. But there's nothing more proven than literal science. Like there's nothing that you can do besides listen to things that have been studied and researched for months and years and decades.
Yeah. I think it's super valid to criticize the pharmaceutical industry because it is very like, you know, money driven, predatory, greedy, capitalistic. But I think the part that like is harmful is when we are like denying doctors like that they like don't know any better. Yeah. Or like that we know better than them, when they literally went to school for usually like 10 years to study this stuff. And like I do love a good like herbal remedy. I love like learning about herbalism and like knowing what like herbs do what for the body, like what parts of the body it's good for. Like I love teas and tinctures and salves and all that shit. And it works, but there are certain things that shit doesn't work for. And I like that you mentioned a lot of the people that like don't believe in vaccines, or like that, you know, go down this pipeline. They are usually like really privileged white people.
Yeah.
And then they go into like the vitamins and supplements and like, oh, like you don't need sunscreen, you just need more of this one vitamin, and like,
which you can poison yourself.
Yeah.
With vitamins and supplements.
Also, that shit is expensive and not everyone has access to these things. Like,
yeah. And also those same kinds of people should be the most insured, because a lot of them are drinking raw milk and consuming raw cheese. Bitch, you could die.
Listen, I'm all for like homeopathic medicine first, but like when it doesn't work, just take the Advil.
Yeah.
Like it's fine.
You won't die if you take a Tylenol.
You might actually live a little longer, to be honest.
Might make it bearable, actually.
Yeah. I'm just trying to read some of my notes.
Yeah. I do have like one thing to say too. Like there's we can jump off this later, but just like the correlation between the people that are like anti-science, anti like I don't want to say anti-healthcare because anti-healthcare also to me means like anti-healthcare system. But I guess anti-medicine,
Anti-free healthcare.
yeah, are also like climate deniers and like to every extent. And the research that they do is Googling or like looking something up on a search engine and not using a website or a source that has been academically approved or studied, and there's no peer reviewing. It's just like some guy typing onto a forum and people are taking it as gospel.
Yeah.
Like you can't just read everything that you see online. I could just type up a paragraph right now of whatever bullshit and someone would believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of insane.
These are the same people that spout like, oh, do your own research.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's your sources? And they're like, I just read it somewhere.
Joe Rogan is the source.
It's like I got this information from people who actually went to school and researched and like learned about these things and got a degree.
Mm-hmm. And like I understand criticizing like your own PCP, like your own primary care physician, if you feel unheard. Like obviously there's a lot of people who feel that there's like medical discrimination at hand, which a lot of times there are, but like for these specific kinds of people, that's not what they're referring to when they're distrusting of doctors.
No.
That's actually really interesting because one of my classes was about like how most people of color are looked over in healthcare regardless, because when they talk about studies and research that they've done, a lot of it's like so outdated almost, or like old, that it was only ever done on white people, or it's only ever been studied on white people. Like certain skin rashes, like they don't show you what it looks like on a person of color. And so you might just be like, oh, you just have like dry skin, and it's not that at all.
Yeah.
But they're not trained to like identify based on like ethnicity and culture and race. Like they learn off white people basically.
Yeah. And there's the belief that like certain kinds of people of color handle pain better, which just is not true. Like every single person on a person to person basis has a different pain tolerance. But I've seen like people post from their medical textbooks online to be like, what the fuck is this? Where it's just literally saying like, oh, like Hispanic people don't need medication. They just prayed to like God or Jesus. Like they have Catholicism. Bitch, in a medical textbook? That's crazy.
That's insane.
Like
I did not know that.
Just stereotypes. Like old textbooks will literally just have racial stereotypes as like this person doesn't need pain or pain medication, pain
management.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. And it's the same thing for women in healthcare. Like a lot of times women are overlooked as well.
Well, I guess that's not really helping my case on this conversation.
Well, it's just
but I mean, it's a valid. Go ahead.
Sorry. I just don't want anyone to like say that's what they're referring to, because like we're not talking about them, but we're acknowledging it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that it's mainly white people who believe like, oh, like herbs are the best way, but like medicine is designed for them. And you still have people of color who trust science and medicine more than herbs.
Yeah.
And it's not even catered to them.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's fair.
That was so cute.
This is so awkward. You guys just waiting for me to read my notes.
This is an Elena heavy episode today. Me and Haley were both like, we did not like
this
prepare
is Elena's episode.
I mean, I literally have like one small page of notes because I thought that we would like bounce off on a lot of these things. Oh, like another thing, not specifically like medication, but even like cosmetic products. There are a lot of people that are like very like the whole like greenwashing or like the clean skincare, clean makeup, like it doesn't have any quote unquote chemicals in it, as if like water isn't like literally a chemical. It is a chemical. Technically.
Chemicals come from the earth.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the periodic table?
So yeah, like things can obviously get processed multiple times to become something, but like at the end of the day, it had to come from something on this planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like a lot of these things that people like claim are bad ingredients are things like preservatives, which like maybe if at like a certain level of, I don't know what you call it, like amount of like the preservative ingredients that are in the skincare product or makeup product or whatever, like if there's like an astronomical amount of it in the product, I'm sure it could be cancerous. But like people, like companies aren't like purposefully pumping your makeup full of like carcinogenic ingredients. Like you need some preservatives in your foundation so it doesn't get moldy, because you're putting that shit directly on your face, or like you're putting it like the doe foot applicator like to your skin, and then you're putting it back in the bottle. Like there are like certain ingredients in your foundation or whatever, your makeup, that like need to be there.
Also, like, it's really funny that people focus on like things like makeup and like just medicine and food in general, because like one of the like two of the biggest things that like became recently, I guess you can say, known to be harmful to humans are lead and asbestos. Two things that are just in your house.
Yeah, they're just there.
You can't do anything with your fucking lavender to fix that, okay, girl? Like,
Yeah.
that's a chemical and you need another chemical to fix it.
These are bitches with popcorn ceilings talking to other bitches with popcorn ceilings.
Yeah, we have popcorn ceilings. I'm well aware that like there's mold. There's a lot happening in our apartment, probably.
Yeah.
But our rent's cheap.
True. Jumping off of the like preservative thing, I've never not wanted to preserve my makeup. It's in the word.
I would love to preserve it.
Yeah, and just like generally, if you're using makeup, like you're putting your brush in the pan, if you're putting the doe foot applicator on your face, there's bacteria everywhere on your face, on your brush, on your fingers. You would hope that whatever your makeup product is that it's preserving the integrity of the product and not harboring bacteria from external sources. Like you would want it to stay intact.
Safe to use for long periods of time. Yeah,
I agree.
Also, from what I have read, which I don't know if it was enough, but I don't think that aluminum based sunscreen is really as harmful as a lot of people make it sound. I went back to aluminum based not sunscreen, deodorant.
I was just about to ask.
Thank you. I don't know if aluminum based deodorant is as harmful as companies have marketed it to be, just so that they can like, you know, market their aluminum free deodorant.
I truly feel like the FDA, maybe they have, maybe I'm talking out my ass. I truly feel like they would have stepped in and done something if aluminum was really that bad. Could it be a little harmful? Yeah. Do I care? No, I don't want to be sweaty. And guess what? I'm sorry. None of the natural deodorants work. They just are. It's a gimmick. It's a marketing gimmick.
Like they deodorize, but they are not antiperspirants.
I don't think there is an antiperspirant that's not aluminum.
Right. I don't know if they exist.
Because I think it has to clog your pores to not have you perspire.
Yeah, and like people are like, oh well, like it's not good that you can't sweat. Well, it's like I can sweat out of other glands like that are not my armpits. Not be quite as stinky.
Sweat at like night when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, I'll just shower and wash the glands, and then the glands are unclogged.
Like, are you not exfoliating your armpits?
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
It's a different that's a different problem.
But
we talk about deodorant a lot on this podcast.
I do have one thing to say on deodorant.
What?
There's like an epidemic of women's deodorant where it's like you have to have deodorant everywhere on your whole entire body. Like, why do
Yes.
you have
What's
to
up
have
with
it?
that?
What's up with that? You got to have it between your cheeks, between the thighs, in the armpits, literally everywhere. And it's just like, what?
Since when?
Since when? I think it's just like trying to sell more things to women and like creating new insecurities for women to be like, well, do I smell there? Wait, do I smell there?
I was just gonna say that. Like, I think it's just like, oh, let's find a new way to make women spend money because they're insecure about this happening. Because truly, I wouldn't care about having an antiperspirant if I wasn't so embarrassed of sweat stains.
Yeah. Good point.
This all goes back to that bitch ass brand that I've talked about before on this podcast.
It does.
It rhymes with Mooney.
Yeah. We're never getting that brand deal, baby.
No. We have integrity.
Die. I don't care.
Kill yourself.
They're the ones that started this whole like the whole body deodorant move. And ever since they've popped off, also like their men's line is like marketed as like another brand. I think it's called like
oh yeah,
it rhymes with Bondo. I think. I don't know. Anyways,
I still don't know.
They also make like whole body deodorant, and so ever since that they've popped off. Now, Secret has full body deodorant. I've not tried it. I hope it doesn't smell as bad as the other brand. Dove, I'm sure, makes whole body deodorant. But yeah, it's like that stuff that you're supposed to put between your cheeks and like the backs of your knees and God knows where else, under your boob. I don't know.
There's a reason that like it's just normally for your armpits. It's like there's certain sweat glands smell and some don't.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You're supposed to sweat on your body, but like it's really only smelly like on your scalp and like armpits, maybe feet. Obviously, if you let it go too long, like that's a whole different story about like your cleanliness and hygiene that like you need to work on.
Right.
I'm talking like on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like you take a shower every day, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Is this an extension of climate change?
Yes.
Earth is getting hotter. Everyone's much sweatier than normal.
Interesting.
Potentially?
Recession
I don't know.
indicator.
Just
Good
spreading
theory.
misinformation.
I think it's a good
Just
one.
starting rumors.
Just lying for
The
fun.
right wingers are gonna love this one.
The way we're like, we hate misinformation, spreading it for fun.
They're going to call us smelly because they're going to be like, you guys hate deodorant.
I
False.
love deodorant, actually. Aluminum, give it to me, please.
I love the aluminum, actually.
I have a clinical grade deodorant.
Oh.
Love her.
I was using one, but it didn't work as well as my normal one, I feel.
Interesting.
Maybe it was the brand. I don't know.
Maybe.
Borrowed somebody's clinical grade deodorant. I don't remember who. But anyways, it smelled like a keratin treatment to me.
Yum. That sounds nice.
No,
Oh, it doesn't?
I don't like the smell of keratin treatment.
What is it? What does a keratin treatment smell like?
Ooh.
Like bleach or like hair dye?
No, it's like almost like a good smell, but it's like so strong that it like burns your nose hairs.
Oh.
It's not even ammonia. It's just
Almost like a vinegar, kind of?
no. It's
Ugh.
not even like it's not like a gross smell. It smells almost like floral, but like
rose, how it can be like so like in your nose.
it burns.
Yeah.
Up here. I don't know.
Fuck a keratin treatment. That's all that I have to say about that.
Wait,
Why?
Why?
Just fuck them. I got a keratin treatment on my hair when I was like 14, I think, and it probably took like 2 years for my hair to go back to normal.
Interesting.
I didn't realize that it was just like basically relaxer.
Some yes,
Yeah.
some no.
Well, obviously I don't know all of them. You know more than I do, but I don't remember which one I had used on me. My mom just took me to like one of those student beauty schools,
Yeah,
and it was just like, whoa.
they use the cheapest ones. Also
Yeah, fucked
there.
up my hair.
You know what? If you're gonna have chemophobia, it is fair to be afraid of keratin treatments. Those things are scary. Some of them.
I would say if you're like, I guess like permanently or semi-permanently altering something with a chemical, I understand fear. Because it's like, it's not like makeup where you take it off at the end of the day. It's like, you're kind of like semi-permanently doing
It's
something to your hair.
semi-permanent. Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's like, that makes sense because it's like I'm afraid of the reaction that will happen. I know what's going to happen when I put makeup on.
Yeah.
It's a risk.
That's true. I think one interesting part of chemophobia for beauty too, especially hair. I don't know if you've dealt with this because you've worked in like salons that cater to all people. Like I'm sure had like really weird clients. Which would love to hear more stories about that.
For sure.
But when it comes to like chemophobia in hair care specifically, like a lot of people don't like the idea of using bleach or dye or other products made specifically to be used on hair, and then they use shit that you cannot get out of your hair.
Yeah.
Like henna. Henna's very hydrating, but like it's a bitch to get out of your hair.
Yeah.
Also, people like Indian culture using henna on their hair is like their hair's already dark. That's why. Like it's almost just for the moisture.
Yeah, it's nature's
or like a gloss for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they use henna and it's safe for them to use henna because they're not using other products. Like they're not combining it, or they're not going to like dye their hair with henna and then bleach it like a few months later. Like it's like a cultural thing, like, or it's like, well, whatever it means to them. Usually if you do henna on your hair, you stick to it and like only it.
I was going to say it's a nature's color depositing conditioner, but I can't think of the brand name.
Overtone?
Oh, yes. Nature's Overtone.
Yeah. It something about it, even though it is natural, like it has like mineral salts in it which react to bleach and like other professional hair products. Honestly, I'm not really sure. I have always just like turned down clients that have henna on their hair because I don't want to get into that.
Henna is technically a chemical.
It is a chemical. It is natural, but it is a chemical.
Much to ponder.
Yes. But yeah, I think that while it is good to pay attention to the ingredients that are in your food, makeup, skincare, sunscreen, deodorant, whatever, it is good to be aware. It's good to know what is on your face and body. I trust professionals. I trust cosmetic chemists. I trust doctors. And yeah, I think that it takes a lot of privilege to avoid certain types of products that are really accessible and to buy products that have very simple ingredients. The majority of people are, yes, just buying whatever they can find at Target and Walmart. And most of the affordable brands there might have preservatives in their products. Or like their groceries might have been like sprayed with pesticides. Like, sorry, like not everyone has like access to like local homegrown farmers market like type foods.
Also, organic doesn't mean no pesticides. It just means organic approved pesticides. Regardless, you should just wash your fruit.
Yeah.
I did get advice that if you can't like afford to buy everything organic, the most important ones are the ones where you like eat the skin or like the outer layer, basically. Like organic bananas doesn't fucking matter. You know, like that shit was grown inside.
Yeah.
In this little cave.
Yeah. So like your bell peppers,
that stuff, it's like either just like make sure you wash it really good or buy organic and still wash it really good.
Yeah. I think another interesting thing when it comes to like pesticide conversation is like the people that are anti-pesticide or pro-organic food are never really for like the liberation of migrants who are picking their food. They're not concerned with the migrants who like get illnesses related to pesticides, which is very common. There's a lot of places in California especially that like have high concentrated amounts of illnesses related to pesticides, like people that work near farms and such. Like it's a very common thing, But that's never the issue. It's just like, well, how is this going to affect me and my body?
That's always what it is. It's always what it comes down to. Me and my family.
Yeah, it's like the fuck you, I got mine. Like,
Mhm.
I don't give a fuck that you're like in the field getting sick, getting fucking cancer. But is this bad for me?
Yeah.
I think Republicans are very nuclear family oriented.
Yeah. Where did that start? Reagan?
Oh, I'm sure.
It always starts with Reagan.
It really does. But then like obviously the opposite of that is very community oriented, and people who are left leaning or just inherently, obviously not all people of color are left leaning, but like a lot of times that is true. A lot of times it also isn't true. A lot of Republicans. But like for people of color especially, there's like a lot of multi-generational households. Like it's very common to have like your grandparents and like your cousins and like other people living in your house with you. So it's more community oriented. You have more people around versus just like mom, dad, brother, sister, and that's it. And we don't really give a fuck about anyone else.
So true.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't remember how that related back to. I think it had something to do with
not
pesticides.
Yeah, not caring about people who are affected by pesticides.
Yeah.
That made me think about how sad I was about people affected by the hurricane. I've been having a really hard time with this whole hurricane thing.
I've been having a really hard time.
It's really sad.
I was unfortunately delivered the news that I was unaware of this ever happening, that prisons and mandatory evacuation zones don't evacuate.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
And if they try to evacuate manually, they will be shot and killed.
What do you, like, how can you trap these people and essentially give them a death sentence when that wasn't what they were sentenced to?
No. Like, the crime does not fit the punishment. Just because you're in prison doesn't mean you deserve to drown to death.
Someone could be in there for like petty theft of food.
Yeah, especially being in like southern states like that, like they'll arrest you for anything.
Yeah. Especially if you're a person of color.
Yeah.
I just like, I'm sorry. Okay, you want to make sure they can't run away. You guys have modes of doing that. You have buses, you have, what are they called? Like handcuffs and like feet cuffs. Like,
Yeah.
you can get them
There are
out of there
ways.
safely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just don't give a fuck.
Because you
I
transported them to the jail in a bus. You can transport them out.
I just saw that this is like so common knowledge if you ever like critically think about it. But it's just, it saves the state money.
Of course.
That's so sad.
It's really sad. It's like that life was worth a couple $1,000s to them, and that's it. It's very inhumane, the way that we treat prisoners in the United States. Would love to do Hate Your Guts Prison Industrial Complex. Yeah, and also the effects of the hurricane, obviously not directly, but just global warming and climate change in general has accelerated a lot in the past year because of the genocide that's been ongoing in Palestine. Like, you can't just airstrike the earth every single day for a year and not expect there to be catastrophic consequences to that. Like, obviously there's going to be a lot of environmental factors that occur afterwards when you were talking about literal bombs being sent into the earth.
Yeah. Tragic.
Now I'm having an existential crisis.
Yeah, I have had such bad anxiety this past, like, I don't know, ever since the hurricanes have been really intense. And like, thankfully, I mean, like, it even feels bad to say this, but like, thankfully none of like my friends and family have been affected by it. But like, I like, it doesn't feel right to say that because like someone's family, like people, like, just because I don't know them personally, I don't have a connection with them, doesn't mean that like I'm like relieved. Like,
Yeah.
it's awful what's happening, because it's happening to someone. I don't know, it's just really sad.
Especially because like I get being upset at people who don't evacuate mandatory evacuation zones, because at the end of the day, like, Uber was offering free rides to get out of like the mandatory evacuation zones and all of that. But it's also just like with the first hurricane, North Carolina did not expect to get hit the way they did. North Carolina and Tennessee, I think, were the really bad ones.
Yeah.
Like, that was so unexpected. These people thought maybe that, like, it would flood a little.
Yeah.
And, like, now, like, with the second one, it's like the entire state of Florida. Like, people couldn't evacuate because they are, like, right in the middle of it.
Yep.
And it's like there wasn't enough gas to get out of where they live.
It's so, like, they're actually trapped.
Like, they were gridlocked on freeways. People were driving on the shoulders and on the grass. Like, that is so, like, how can the government watch all these people suffer and, like, just be like, oh, wow.
Yeah, imagine just, like, the state saying, like, you need to leave the state or else you will die. And then there's no way out.
Yeah, and they're like, and we can't come back for you because we don't have enough resources. So
Yeah.
even if you're stranded without power, good luck. People had to sign that they weren't evacuating the mandatory evacuation zones because if power's gone, which it most likely will be, it won't be restored till after they restore the voluntary evacuation zones or even the no evacuation zones. Like, it sucks, but it's also just like, evacuate if you can, please. Like, anywhere safer would be great.
Yeah.
She sleep.
The way that she, like, rests her head is so funny.
Dude, I'm like crying at Lily with the cone she uses as a pillow.
She does.
I think she loves the cone.
I kind of think that she does. She looks so cutie with it. She looks like a little lion sometimes because, like, it looks like a mane.
Donovan responded to my story of her and said, oh my goodness, spring has sprung.
Oh, that's so precious. Shout out Donovan.
Right? He's funny. I'm talked out, guys.
All right.
We had a lot of yapping to do to catch up on before recording, and we talked for a while.
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts on the whole wellness topic. Where do you stand? Which side are you on? Well, hopefully you're on our side.
Let us know what you guys want to hear.
Yeah. Topic suggestions would be nice.
Because we just like to hear ourselves speak. Like, we don't really put that much into how much you guys will like it.
That's true.
Really
The only time I really think about you guys is when it's editing, and then I'm like, oh, this might be annoying to hear.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. What we publish out into the world is like us cutting out the annoying parts. Can you believe that?
Yeah, can you believe that, you guys?
That's so fucking funny.
Maybe not as much on YouTube, but Spotify's really cut down.
Yeah. Well,
YouTube, I leave the dead air so you can watch us go be awkward on YouTube.
It's so awkward. Please don't look at me, actually. Okay. Bye.
Later, haters.
It is really awkward.